Hey, it's Rob here. It's been a couple of months now and we're knee-deep into 2026 and I haven't put out a review compilation video in a while, so I thought I'd get right on that. For a year now, I've been uploading 2-minute movie reviews to Shorts and Reels. If you haven't seen them, you totally should. I'm pretty proud of them. And late last year, I started putting them together for all the non-Shorts watchers to enjoy too. This video contains the reviews for the first 5 films I watched in 2026. The Pout-Pout Fish, Hamnet, Mercy, Return to Silent Hill, and Primate. And honestly, these 5, aside from Hamnet, it was a pretty lousy start to the year, but let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right on in, starting with... Hey look, that's the same face I made while watching the movie. The Pout-Pout Fish is a new Australian-American animated film based on the Pout-Pout Fish books by Deborah Deason, with Nick Offerman starring as the titular Pout-Pout Fish. And why am I reviewing this? Well, the first few weeks of January kind of suck for new releases, but you can always count on there being a dodgy animated film to watch, so it was either this or Grand Prix of Europe. I also took way too long to watch a new Aussie film last year, so I thought for my first review of the new year, why not start with an Australian film? But look, I'm obviously stalling here. I should talk about the movie, but what is there to talk about? It's so bland, so forgettable. As of recording this review, I saw it just a couple hours ago and I already don't remember seeing it. The animation is outdated. It doesn't look terrible, but look, Finding Nemo came out 22 years ago. If you're making a fish movie, the bar has been set and the Pout-Pout Fish does not clear it. The voice work is fine. Nina Oyama does a good job as Pip, the little sea dragon, but I was kind of unimpressed with the rest of the cast. Even Nick Offerman, he's normally pretty good, but here it just sounds like he's bored. And the plot is paper thin. It's based on a book, a children's picture book series, so there's not exactly a whole wealth of material to base the movie on, so half the movie just feels like padding for time. But what is here feels like a ripoff. It's going for that Finding Nemo thing, you know? The grumpy fish and his plucky, optimistic friend encounter various sea creatures, and the grumpy fish gets mad that his friend is so trusting, but she always ends up being right anyway. But damn, it feels really stupid for being so critical of the film for having such a thin plot, because at the end of the day, it's a film for children, young children, toddlers even. And I'm not saying all animation is for babies, but this one is. It's based on a picture book series, picture books that you can get printed on cardboard instead of paper so that your baby can't rip the pages as easy. So, I'm reviewing this from the perspective of a childless adult. Of course it sucks, but it's not meant for me, it's meant for 4-year-olds. And look, taking your kid to see this film is better than letting them watch Cocomelon on an iPad. For me, this film is a 3 out of 10. It's boring, poorly animated, and just felt absolutely empty. But look, if you're the parent of a kid who needs something a little more engaging than just jingling keys in front of their face, then check out the Pout-Pout Fish. Damn it, Universal Pictures, why'd you make us wait so long for this? Hamnet is the new film by Chloe Zhao, based on the book of the same name by Maggie O'Farrell, who also co-wrote the screenplay with Zhao. It's finally out in Australia and it was well worth the wait. Though I wasn't really sure if I'd even like it or not. Regardless of the overwhelming praise it got overseas, I'm just not really into this type of slow burn, historical drama, romance kind of film. Just not really my bag. But I'm glad I saw it, because it's a masterwork. First, the performances. Oh my god, Paul Mescal is William Shakespeare. Paul Mescal is quickly cementing himself as one of my favorite actors, and his performance here is transcendent, perhaps his very best. But even then, for as good as he is, Jessie Buckley still manages to outshine him. Her performance as Agnes is one for the ages, the kind of legendary performance that'll be lauded for years to come. So much complexity and emotion in her portrayal, and her chemistry with Mescal is just phenomenal. The kid actors too, extraordinary, especially Jacoby Duke as Hamnet. He's so good, so natural in the role, and having his brother Noah Duke play the stage actor playing Hamlet, fantastic choice. The filmmaking is great too. The cinematography is interesting but never overly flashy. The music is a little more passive but in a way that highlights the emotions, and the production design is excellent, felt so realistic. It's kind of hard for me to single out anything that I didn't like or that I didn't think was exceptionally well done. Chloe Zhao and her team have assembled the film so intricately. The big distraction I had, the film doesn't reveal the name William Shakespeare until the last 20 minutes of the film, and I don't really understand why. Like, they seem to go out of their way not to name Paul Mescal's character, but the movie's called Hamnet, and yeah, it's more about Agnes, but we know it's about Shakespeare, so I don't know why we're being so coy about it. So, when they do reveal his name, it's hard to take it seriously. The way they reveal his name feels like a Marvel movie post-credit scene. It felt silly in a way that betrays the film. And as well, personal preference plays a big part in me not adoring the film. I can appreciate the sheer mastery at play here, but I just prefer something with a bit more pep. But that being said, the film is fantastic. It's extraordinary in a way that most movies just aren't. Feeling a 9 out of 10 for Hamnet. The performances are emotive and devastating, and the film is made with so much heart. Check it out. I should have skipped Mercy. I should have picked any other film. Okay, that was cringe. I just saw Mercy, directed by Timur Bekmambetov and starring Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, and it was bad. It was very, very bad. Oh boy, where do you start with Mercy? The film stars Chris Pratt, whose character has been charged with the murder of his wife, but this is the future. So, instead of a years-long trial with lawyers, Chris Pratt wakes up in a chair in front of an AI judge played by Rebecca Ferguson, and he has 90 minutes to plead his case or be executed on the spot. It's a ridiculous concept, but on paper, there's something to work with there. There's a chance to say something about policing and the justice system, and more obviously about surveillance culture and the use of AI in criminal proceedings. And then it says none of it. If anything, the film ends up being pro-AI and pro-surveillance, but I'm not sure it was trying to be. It clearly wants to be Minority Report. That much is obvious. The whole,
we solve crime with this new anti-crime machine, but oh no, it's charged someone innocent, and now we're asking the question, is this what we really want?
Chris Pratt sucks here, I'm sorry. I don't even hate the guy. He can be really good, but all he does here is sit in a chair and overact at the camera. And I normally love Rebecca Ferguson, but her performance as an AI was just boring. But the biggest red flag of the film? It's a screenlife movie. Or at least it is partially. Most of everything we see is cell phone footage, screen recordings, desktops, video chats, stuff like that. It's giving War of the Worlds, which shouldn't have been surprising. Timur Bekmambetov was a producer on War of the Worlds, but even though this film is technically better than War of the Worlds, in a way, it being better makes it worse. War of the Worlds 2025 is so bad that it's a blast to watch, whereas Mercy is just a regular, boring kind of bad. Everything sucks, but not in a fun, ha-ha way like, wow, the VFX looks like it's from a PS4 game instead of a PS2 game. The one thing I'll give it, the mystery here is pretty solid. I don't know if that's worth much, but it kept me invested enough to care about what was happening throughout, and that's something, at least. I'm feeling a 2 out of 10 for Mercy, close to a 1, honestly. Nothing about it is really any good, but it's also not really bad enough to be any fun to watch. Show yourself some mercy and skip this movie. What is this? What the hell happened? Christoph Gans, what did you do? Return to Silent Hill is an adaptation of the video game Silent Hill 2, directed by Christoph Gans, who directed the first Silent Hill film in 2006. I'll start by saying, I have not played any Silent Hill games. I know very little about it, so I'm not really here for whether or not I think the movie is a bad adaptation. As a horror movie, it's abysmal. Maybe the worst I've seen. It's just not scary. It's not. There's no tension, no stakes, no atmosphere. There's barely even any fog. How can you make a Silent Hill movie without fog? That should have been number 1 on the list. The acting is just awful. Jeremy Irvine plays the role so strangely. His performance lacks any kind of cohesion or consistency, and I was constantly distracted by just how much he looked like the love child of Sam and Dean from Supernatural. In his defense, the script did him no favors. It's a total mess of clunky dialogue, abstract flashbacks, and confusing action scenes. At no point did I understand any of what was happening, and I really tried. And James Sunderland does nothing in this movie. He goes somewhere spooky, a monster beats his ass, and he wakes up somewhere else, basically teleporting after passing out. And the effects were atrocious. So much of the film looked fake that it was impossible to care about what was happening. The immersion was constantly broken by these appalling effects. Even the hairstyling sucked. Have you seen that beard? Why? Just have him be clean shaven. This is ass. The saving grace for me, I was lucky enough to watch this with a friend of mine who is a massive, massive Silent Hill 2 fan, and oh boy, I have never seen him look so offended before. That was great. If you were going to watch this, and I strongly urge that you don't, watch it with someone who's played the games, if you can convince them, because watching them squirm is going to be a lot more entertaining than the film itself. And I guess the music was pretty good too. Feeling a 1 out of 10 for Return to Silent Hill, and that's being generous. It's one of the worst films I have ever seen. Certainly the worst film I've paid to see in a theater. Do yourself a favor and skip this one. Amazon Prime, Prime Energy, a missed opportunity for some product placement here, guys. Primate is a new horror film directed by Johannes Roberts about a group of teenagers trapped at a house party getting picked off one by one by a rabid chimpanzee named Ben. I was originally going to skip this one. I hate monkey movies. I just don't find monkeys or chimpanzees fun or charming. I think they're annoying and that they ruin any movie they're in. But this isn't a comedy or a family flick, it's a horror movie through and through, so maybe it could be good. And there is a lot to like here. The filmmaking on display is actually pretty good. The film makes great use of its location, a cliffside home in Hawaii. It's shot really nicely, highlighting the remoteness of the spot. The film uses great lighting, lots of moody shadows and colors, accentuating the unsettling vibes, and the use of sound is great. Great Foley work and ambience, making the scares pretty effective. And look, if it's gore and violence you want, there's a lot here. Ben the Chimp does some very nasty things, some really horrific endings for some of the characters here. Though I wish the film wasn't so coy about showing it. A lot of the violence is pretty hard to see through editing or it just being too dark to see the gore. Where the film falls flat is the story. The filmmaking is great, but it's in service of a movie that is full of frustrating characters making frustrating choices. They squander every opportunity to escape, and I get it, it's a horror movie, they're supposed to be dumb, but one character literally escapes but then gets into the wrong car, and that just immediately took me out of the movie. And you know how in crappy action movies the hero fights heaps of bad guys, but the bad guys only come one at a time, the rest just kind of stand around like this so the hero can beat them? That happens here. Every time Ben is mauling someone, the other characters just stand there like, bro, do something, he's just a chimpanzee, you outnumber him, stop going after him one at a time. What else? The acting. It was standard horror movie acting, aka not very good, and the characters were just standard horror movie archetypes. You know right away who is and who isn't gonna make it. Feeling a 4 out of 10 for Primate. It's well made, but the story and characters were way too frustrating to be enjoyable. But if you like the horror movie tropes of dumb characters getting picked off in a fancy location, you'll probably like it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you've made it this far, do me a huge favor and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more reviews. And leave a comment as well. Here, tell me if you think there's any chance that we'll see a worse movie this year than Return to Silent Hill. We'd need a War of the Worlds level movie just to beat that. I spent most of the early part of the year working on the top 10 songs video and the Oscar predictions video, and I've got another big year-end film project in the works too. But I'll try to keep up with these review compilations in the meantime. Until then, have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace.